Hey guys, this is the Game Critic. So today's video is it's not going to be any video game review just yet. Um, so this is actually a response to a good friend of mine. After this good friend of mine, after watching my Xbox One video, he asked me, how about doing a PlayStation 4 discussion. I actually looked into it. I was looking more into the PlayStation 4, and I'm a little more on the PlayStation 4 side, as probably most of you are at this point. So yeah, today I'm going to talk about the PlayStation 4. Now, before I can judge the console by everything it has, I have to look at the previous consoles that Sony has made, just like my Xbox One video with Microsoft's previous consoles. So anyway. Where do I begin? Oh, right, the PlayStation 1. So yeah, of course, Sony's first console, the PlayStation 1, was released in '94, and of course it did have many different features than the competition at the time, which was the I'm gonna name a lot of consoles here, so bear with me. This was the time when these consoles were coming out. Mainly the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, those are the two main ones, and then the Atari Jaguar slipping in the market, just not finding its place. Let's see, the 3DO, I believe the Super Graphics in Japan. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I thought there'd be more consoles I can name right off the bat, but that's pretty much it that I can think of right now. And the PlayStation 1 comes out, and it's got the new CD format. You actually get to your CDs came in a jewel case like this. But people, I bet back then were like, wow, it's like you get to play the games on a CD. Yeah, that's the back of the CD. They were always black for some reason. But you always get to play the games on a CD. Now, there were other consoles that were using the CD format. The Sega Genesis had its Sega CD add-on, and the first CD add-on was, of course, the TurboGrafx 16 with its CD attachment. But anyway, then there was the Philips CDI. That was another console at the time. But both the 3DO and the Philips CDI were failing at the point with the CDs and all that, because they were using the full motion video, and it was just too much. There was barely any good gameplay, and the Sega CD, we all know, failed. Poor loading, like really long loading times, just pretty much half-assed games. Like they didn't even attempt. Albeit Sonic CD was a good game on the Sega CD. Their port of NHL '94 was also a good game. It was good to hear that music on CD. There was also, Android Assault, and then there was the really bad games like Slam City with Scottie Pippen and Night Trap and Sewer Shark and Ground Zero Texas. But that's not the point. So when the PlayStation 1 came out, people were a little skeptical because Sony, yeah, they were a big company back in the day. They made all the VCRs. They made the Walkman at the time. They also made the Discman, which was a portable CD player. They made the radios. They made the TVs. They made a lot back then. They were a technological genius company, but people thought that they wouldn't enter the video game market. So in '94, Ken Kutaragi announced that he was going to release his console, the PlayStation. And nowadays we call Ken Kutaragi the father of the PlayStation, because he was behind it all. So anyway, so yeah, it was released, and it came with several good launch titles at the time. Mainly Doom, it's one of my favorite video games of all time. The D-pad on the PlayStation 1 really doesn't work to maneuver, but it's okay. So yeah, but then there are tons of PlayStation 1 games that come out, and they're all these big titles. There's Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, the first Medal of Honor. Okay, this was back before crappy before. I can't think of an offensive name to call Call of Duty, but yeah, this was before all the crappy Call of Duty games were being made. Man, oh, I hate that franchise. But that's for another video. But anyway, then there was the Gran Turismo series, unarguably actually, the greatest racing game series of all time. And then even when the PlayStation 2 was released, the PlayStation 1 was still selling. It was a hot seller, definitely a hot seller. It lasted 12 years in the video game market, so it died out in '04. The PlayStation 2 became more popular, so Sony just decided to abandon their PlayStation 1. So yeah, the PlayStation 1, a lot of people say that it was either their first console or their favorite console. And then came the legend that was the PlayStation 2. Of course, I am a PlayStation fanboy, so this is going to be easy to talk about, and obviously the PlayStation 2 is my favorite console because it's got so many good games, it's got good internet to a certain extent, maybe not as good as the Xbox's internet. The games come on DVDs now instead of CDs. Yeah, so you got your DVD here. And the PlayStation 2 incorporated, it was the first console to have a built-in DVD player. The Xbox, of course, needed an adapter and all that, but that's for later. I should have talked about that in my Xbox video. Anyway, so yeah, the PlayStation 2, it's the highest-selling gaming console of all time, and it does have the most sales, and it had all these cool accessories like the hard drive, the network adapter, of course, which you needed the hard drive to play, I believe, Final Fantasy 11, which I'm not sure what the real number of that game was, because Final Fantasy 3 was Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 3 was Final Fantasy 6, actually. So all the numbers are mixed up, but that's for a different video, as usual. But anyway, the PlayStation 2 had large success, mainly because of the new games that were coming out. They kept the Gran Turismo series going. They kept the Final Fantasy games going. So the Metal Gear Solid games were going. The Medal of Honor games were going. And unfortunately, some greedy companies, Activision, I think, they're behind Call of Duty, I think, tried to make profit on the console by making Call of Duty. Albeit, the first 3 Call of Duty games are actually good. I like those ones. But that's for a different video. I'm gonna do a rant about Call of Duty later. So anyway, the PlayStation 2 had, that creaking is the chair, by the way. That was not my ass, that was the chair. So anyway, so then in 2006, the PlayStation 3 gets released. I thought it was going to be a big revolutionary console. It was going to have all the good stuff, and it did to a certain extent. It added wireless controllers, and it also added built-in hard drive, which was cool. You could also put an SD card in there, if you wanted to swap data and put it to a different console. The new games, they always came out with some good. The PS3's got some good games. Now, a lot of the Xbox and Nintendo fanboys like to say that PS3 has no good games. Well, it's just Xbox fanboys they're just kind of idiots, assholes, pretty much. There are a few of my friends who are Xbox fanboys who actually, appreciate Sony's consoles. So, Nintendo fanboys, they just like to say that because they're in denial right now. But they're one of the only companies I actually feel sorry for right now. If I could donate money to Nintendo, I would. But that's for later. So, I did have a lot of fun playing PS3 games. My favorite PS3 game so far has been Gran Turismo 5, just because I'm a big fan of the Gran Turismo games. I'm a huge sports and racing games guy, I'm not really that big on the modern day first person shooters. Strategy games are they're only good for the PC, which I got both my laptop and my desktop computer back there, but that doesn't matter. So, yeah, PS3, it's already having huge success even today, on the eve of the PlayStation 4, which should come out several months from now. But I'm still just talking about it. The PS4, what do I think of it? Well, it's an okay console. It's good. I need to know all the technical specs, but online is going to be free. So I've heard, and everything else that you would normally pay for is free. But the console design, it's not all that great, but it's much better than the Xbox One, which that console looks like a DVD player. But what I've also recognized is the controller. I'm not a big fan of the PS4 controller. It's mainly got a touch screen. That's my gripe about it. And there's a share button which connects your games to Facebook and Twitter. Seriously, I think video games and social networking should just be two different things. As they're nothing the same. As my new gaming partner King Compact. Yeah, my new gaming partner King Compact agrees with me. He's asleep right now, so yeah. Thing about computers when they're asleep, just yelling at them won't wake them up, which is cool. But anyway, man, the wind's really stirring up out there. Anyway, yeah, we're in the middle of a thunderstorm right now, so I just might as well stay inside and do this video. It's okay though. Yeah, but the controller I just don't like. I was reading a meme on the internet that had PlayStation controllers in the top, Xbox controllers in the middle, and Nintendo controllers in the bottom. And the meme said on the PlayStation controllers, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because all the PlayStation controllers are pretty much the same, except for the PS4 controller. Now, of course, if you guys have never seen a PlayStation controller before, here's one right here. This is a PS2 controller meant for the PlayStation 2. As you can see, it's got the cord, so that's how you know. Official Sony DualShock 2. Of course, this is what the classic PlayStation controller should look like. Of course, you got your analog sticks, your D-pad. Of course, it's a little crappy, but it's better than the Xbox D-pad. You have your face buttons here, and trigger buttons. Yeah, well, you got your shoulder buttons here and your trigger button here, both trigger buttons. Select and start button, and the analog control, which they did away in the PS3 controller. Sorry, I can't mirror that well. I'm terrible at being able to mirror stuff. Analog control button, though, that was replaced by the home button. But yeah, I mean, it's ergonomic. All the PlayStation controllers are ergonomic. And that's the thing the Xbox controller doesn't have, is the palm rests here. Just these palm rests are great. Albeit the PS4 controller still has them, but the analog sticks are a little concave, and that's the same as the Xbox controllers. How it's like a groove, like it's going in instead of out. It's like a crater almost. That's concave. I'm more used to the convex, which is kind of like a rubber dome here. It's going over the top. Which that's just me. Of course, the analog sticks have the little rubber grippy things, so they're never gonna slip out of your hand. So, my predictions on the console war. So here it is. So you better listen up. Sony's gonna win the console war. Microsoft will die, and Nintendo will sort of leave, paving the way for Atari and Sega to enter the console market. I can see it now. Alright, well anyway, that's my PlayStation 4 discussion. This video's almost reached 15 minutes and it will be rejected by YouTube if I go longer than that. And I'm not going to make a part 2. So, happy gaming. This has been a Game Career presentation. Remember to subscribe, comment, rate my videos, and I'll have more videos uploaded in the near future. Peace. That looked like Helsing 920 there. Well, I'd see ya.